Hi, today something slightly different. So I'm not going to do any cooking today. Today I am going to start preparing for my vegetable gardening this year. Now, I am a complete novice when it comes to vegetable gardening. Last year we spent quite a lot of time in the garden building some raised beds. We put a greenhouse in, compost bin, that sort of thing, getting things ready. And so this year will be my first real sort of go at growing some of my own food. We dabbled last year and we had varying amounts of success, but really we left it too late. So I have bought a load of seeds, because this year what I want to try and do is I want to try and work out what grows in my garden and what doesn't, and that's kind of trial and error. And if they work out really well, then I can save the seeds and carry on and use them next year, and if they don't, well, it's an experiment, and you're only going to learn by actually giving it a go. So I've been doing quite a bit of research. A friend very kindly sent me a book on growing vegetables, which I've read from cover to cover. I don't really know what I'm doing in terms of growing from seed, but if I don't give it a go, then I'm never going to know. So I thought I'd let you join me on this journey. Okay, so what I've got is I've got a load of different seed trays, some of which I've put in these little type trays, and some of them, you know, where is it? In this one I'm just using an old, I don't know, a pudding or something came in this, and I've just put some holes in the bottom of it for drainage. I've got small ones, big ones, I've got little pots like this, so I'm just going to see what works, what doesn't, and plant up a few different things. Now what I have done is I've ordered a ridiculous amount of seeds, so I may not use them all this year. Some of them I should be able to use next year, but hopefully I'll be able to give some to friends, that sort of thing. I'm just looking for something. There it is. And I've got a mixture of plants and vegetable, you know, flowers and vegetables, because the other thing I find is that every year I spend quite a lot on plants that have already been grown from a seed, just to put in the garden, you know, like annuals, and actually I just thought it's a lot cheaper to buy some seeds and give it a go myself. So that's what I'm going to do. So in this big one here I'm going to grow some actual plants, and then in some of the others I've grown vegetables. What I have done is I've worked out when everything's got to be sown indoors, when things have got to be sown outdoors, when things have got to be transplanted out. And what I got from Amazon was this diary. So inside the diary I've put what I need to do when. I don't know whether you can see that. So like these are my tasks to do in February, etc. And every time I plant something I shall be just making a note of it, and I can also in there note what the weather's been like, what has grown well, what didn't work at all, so that next year I've got some information and I'm a bit more informed, and I can work out what it is that I need to do. So, you know, you don't have to do that, but for me I think that will work, because otherwise I'll just forget. So the first thing I'm going to do is this one here, which is plants. Now the other thing I've made myself from my book is a little seedling water feeder. So I've made some holes in the top of the lid. Let me just bring that over so that you can, let's wait for that to focus. There you go. So I've just put some holes in with a nail, and when you water with this you don't get a massive drenching. You can be a bit careful, and I can keep this, I can just keep filling it up, and I can keep this by the side of the trays, and then just water as necessary, because you don't want it to be over watered. I've got it on trays because I'm actually going to put these upstairs in the spare bedroom to start with, because it's way too cold to put them outside. But apparently the earlier you start to sow things, the hardier the plants are going to be, and the more fruit you'll get, and the earlier you'll get it. The thing that I did wrong last year was I waited far too late. So by the time we'd made our beds and things, I didn't, I'd missed the window to actually sow things. So not making that mistake this year, I'm going to give it a go. Now, another tip that I got from reading my book is I've got a bamboo cane here, and an easy way to make a line where your seeds are going to go is to just have a cane that you can just make your impression where you want it, like so. I've got to have 3 lines in here. Probably too many, but I'm going to transplant them when they get a bit bigger. This is only to get them going. So I've now got 3 straight lines in my soil. So I'm going to do some marigolds. For each one, by the way, I've also made a little stick so that I can put on the end of each row what they are. This seed packet has actually come up with one already attached to it, which is quite impressive. Let's just can't get it off, but it's nice that they put it on there. There we go. So I can put that on the end, because this is going to be my marigolds, and I want to sow thinly. Now, what I will do when I've finished for like this tray is I will go and get some more compost, which had actually frozen outside, so note to self, next year keep it indoors when it's really, really cold, and I'll just cover it over. So what I'm not going to do is, once I've put the seeds in, then take the soil from either side. What I'm going to do is add some more soil onto the top, which is why I haven't filled it right up. So it says sow thinly and cover with a fine layer of compost, and firm gently and keep moist. Cover the tray with glass, polythene or propagator lid. Okay, I've got a propagator lid, so that's fine. Now, let's see what these seeds look like. Ooh, they're very strange. Right, these are marigolds, and have a look at that. Can we see that? Let's see if that... Eventually, there we go. There it is. So I'm going to sow these thinly. Just going to dig them in. I'm not going to show you every single one that I do, because I might be here for some time, but I will come back at the end and show you. So I'm going to have some of these left over. What I might do when it gets much, much warmer is I might sow some more directly outside, or alternatively I might save some for next year. These are the weirdest seeds I've ever seen. Okay, so that's my marigolds. In my diary I'm going to make a note of what day I've done them, because then I can keep a track. Oh no, there's a couple here. I can keep a track then of how long they take before the plants start to appear, because sometimes seeds are just not viable. You know, you might have killed them off by keeping them too hot, or you know, if you're doing something from, I was reading in my book that you can grow things like chickpeas and coriander and stuff from seeds that you have in your store cupboard, which, hello, I'm going to give that a go. I will know, if I keep a track of it, how long they're supposed to take before I see a plant, and if they're not working, I know that those seeds aren't viable. So I shall be making a note of everything that I'm planting. So I am going to crack on with getting my seeds in my rows, and then I'm going to start on my vegetable plants. Okay, so I've done a couple of trays already, and I am now going to move on to this one. So I've got some broad beans. Let's have a look. Let's get my little things out. I'm going to do 3 broad bean plants. So here we go, I'll do them here. And then the rest of them in here is going to be shallots. And then in this one I've got some bedding plant seeds, which I'm going to pop in this one. Now, what I have found is that using this as a little dibber, so I can actually get a hole to put the seeds in, has been quite good. Like so. So I want some broad beans. Oh, look, these are massive. Look at that. Just pop that in there. Cover it over. Pop that in there. Cover it over. It's snowing outside. There we go, so there's my broad beans. Got a lovely little pile over here of stuff. And then shallots, these are from seed. Now I have, in my raised bed outside, I've sown a row of garlic and a row of onions that came as, I think they call them sets. So what I'm gonna do with those, in a couple of weeks' time, I'm gonna grow another row of onions so that they're kind of growing at different rates. But these shallots are from actual seed. Okay, so I'm just going to do one in each hole. But again, you see, I can do some more of these in, say, a month. Or outside when it gets a little bit warmer. Right, I'm just going to cover them over. There we go. Shallots. And then these are my moss rose seeds. Now these, I love these. They just really spread, which is brilliant. And what you end up with is these kind of, they look almost a little bit like succulents, because they've got sort of a succulent shaped leaf. And then they're all different colours. So you get pinks, white, yellow, orange, red, but they're all on the same plant, and they just flower and flower and flower. If you keep deadheading them, they just keep on flowering. So I thought I'm going to get some of these seeds because they're really hard to find as a bedding plant, and they are just lovely. Okay, so it's just, again, no idea whether I'm doing this right. But you know, when they come up, I can prick them out and transplant. None of these things are going to stay in these pots. They're all going to go into bigger pots or beds or, you know, containers. So this is literally just to start them off. I'm not going to use them all just in case I've done that completely wrong, but we'll see how we get on with it. So again, I can just now give that a bit of water. This is brilliant, I love this. Okay, I'm going to move on to this tray. So in here I have got carrots, radishes and nasturtiums. So I'm going to do 2 rows of carrots. I'm going to do 1 row of radishes and a bit, and then I'm just going to do 4 nasturtiums for the time being. So this is my radish. I went for these big ones. Ooh, hello. Okay, so radishes I'm going in here. Just push them in. So do you know what, I'm going to dip this because it's easier to get them in then. Right, dip, 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 dip. Okay, radishes, carrot. Now I bought these last year. I kept them in the greenhouse, and apparently that's a no-no to put them in, keep them in the greenhouse, because it sometimes kills the seeds off. So I don't know whether these are going to work, but I have got some different carrots coming. These ones are kind of different coloured carrots, like heritage type carrots. So it will be interesting to see whether or not my scorpiera will result in me getting any carrots from these seeds or not. These seeds that I've bought this year will not be going in the greenhouse. I shall be keeping them in the house in a box at a decent temperature. Again, if these start to come up, I shall be growing some more in a few weeks' time. It's absolutely, oh, they've got a really strong smell actually. Let's just cover them over. It's going to be so satisfying if these all grow. I did grow some carrots last year, but I bought them from the garden centre as small plants. Very expensive way of doing it. And I didn't realise that you had to kind of thin them out. So not all of them grew very big because they didn't have room to grow, and we had some very strange shaped carrots last year. Right, and these are nasturtiums. Now the reason I'm growing these, A, is because you can eat the leaves, and I've never tried them as a leaf, but apparently they're nice and peppery. And the other thing is that when you plant them in a bed with your vegetables, it brings the bees in to then pollinate. So let's say for example you're growing squash or courgettes, you need them to be pollinated. So this will help, according to my book. Oh, don't want to take the lid off, do I? Silly. Let's water them in. This is much cheaper than buying a watering can. Right, this one's going to have a propagator lid on it. Okay. So it's just this one to go. So I've got lots of tomatoes going in here. I've got loads of different varieties of tomato. I love heritage tomatoes when I'm cooking. So I'm going to grow some tomatoes that are really good for like making sauces. So more of the long sort of plum type tomatoes. I've got some that are just little cherry tomatoes and they should hopefully be abundant, but I've got different colours. And then I've got some the big giant like beefsteaky type tomatoes, and not really anything that you would find in a supermarket. So what I've tried to go for is things that you wouldn't find in a supermarket, but hopefully will be sweet and delicious. But until I try them, I don't know what they're going to be like. So I'm going to go with 3 plants of each to start with. I can always grow a couple more. If they start to come up nicely, I can grow some more. Again, I can give some, you know, I've got friends that grow vegetables, so I can give them some to try. And a lot of these I've bought from an Italian seed company, so hopefully they'll be nice and you know, something a bit different. I'm going to try harvesting the seeds as well this year. So right, let me just set myself up so I know what I'm doing. So I'm going to put the things at the end, and then I know which ones I'm going to put them in. Seems like a lot of different tomato varieties, and it is a lot of different tomato varieties, but until you try them you don't know what they're going to be like. So let's do it. And you can never have too many tomatoes because you can make so many things with them. Right, which one's this? This is Costoluto Fiorentino. There we go. Loads of seeds in here, so these are going to last me for ages. Right, let's put a couple of seeds in each. Again, I can always thin it out and transplant little seedlings into other pots. Actually really enjoying this, it's quite therapeutic. For a snowy day when it's cold outside. Right, these are black opal. Now I did try growing some of these last year, but of course I was too late, so it never did anything. So let's see if I've actually got any seeds left in this pack. Oh! There were some, but I managed to fly them off somewhere. Oh, there is a few. But this isn't going to last me any longer, so the last of these ones I'll just plant them all and see where I get on. Right, black opal, this one. There we go. It's that one. Right, I'm going to keep going and then I'm going to put my soil over the top and water them and see how I get on. Okay, so I've now planted all my seeds into my various different pots. Some of them I've got in propagators, some of them, it says to put plastic over the top, but I think I'm not going to bother with that. I'm going to just try and see if we can get some growth without putting plastic on the top. Because I'm going to put them into the bedroom, so it's inside the house, it's going to be warm, much warmer than if it was outside, so I'm going to see how I get on, and then once it gets a bit warmer this will be going outside into the greenhouse until they're ready to plant out. But first lot of seeds in, and hopefully I can come back in a couple of weeks and see and show you how they're getting on. So yeah, thanks for joining me. First gardening video. Don't know whether it's of any use at all because I haven't got a clue what I'm doing, but as I said before, if you don't try and give it a go, then you're never going to learn. You know, everyone has to start somewhere. So let's keep our fingers crossed and see that we get loads of lovely crops. And I shall see you next time, probably to do some cooking. All right.